Teaching and having students, and so we announced that. That's what before I forget, are these your papers?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Is this your pencil? Good morning, Johannes. Guten Morgen. Yeah. Virtual participation to keep our carbon footprint low. Okay. Hi. So, Victor, will you join here? What was your plan? Did you? But it would be good if we start, and it's 5 past.
It's so hot here.
Yes, it is.
Can I see Mark and everyone?
Yeah, Mark is not online today, but I'm still doing it. Broadcast, so it's also documented that we have today some audience. So.
How do you imagine the run of the show?
So. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. Let's have a brief presentation about what ECOS is.
Okay.
And then we will make a short round of introduction also.
Okay.
Going
It's
around
be a
with the
longer
microphone.
one today.
Yeah, very good. So, good morning, everybody. My name is Miroslav Polzer, and I'm the tech support person of the ECOS group. It's the Education, Communication and Outreach Stakeholders Community, which has been set up and recognized formally by the Secretariat in the run-up to COP24. And I'm here with Victor, Joscha.
That's right.
And Victor will explain you a little bit what ECOS is about, and then I would suggest that we have a short round of introduction of people here and what they are doing in this area of climate education, communication, and outreach. And later, also our colleague Dane Espinosa will be here. She has prepared a presentation about the topic of climate education financing. And I will present also briefly the multi-stakeholder partnership Glotcha. And then today at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, we have a press conference. The title is Building the Intellectual Infrastructure for Global Climate Action. And we will discuss here what shall be presented there in addition to what is already planned. So Victor, the floor is yours.
Thank you, and good morning, everyone. What we're trying to do here at ECOS, as said, it was set up in 2016, around the time of Marrakesh, and some people identified that perhaps it was a time for innovation, also within the Secretariat, and also having the Paris Agreement behind us. And the idea came to have a stakeholder group that is not just focused on one type of stakeholder, such as the other constituencies, but have a mixed and diverse stakeholder group who are focusing on education and outreach. So this stakeholder group usually convenes people from delegations working on education and outreach, Ringos, researchers, young researchers from the Yango constituency, as well as NGOs who do education and have related efforts. So in the past, we've been gathering these meetings in the morning, and here I'd like to highlight that we also strive to keep our efforts throughout the year, not just at the UNFCCC space, and align on our advocacy efforts and see how we can mobilize resources and capacity for our outreach activities. And we had a survey in the past few months just to see what our members are doing and what are the key goals, key areas of our members, as well as what are their main obstacles. And here I'd like to go through this presentation.
Okay,
shortly.
very briefly. And we could also mention that we are organizing virtual participation because through Google Hangout, we have also this webcast of these meetings, and sometimes people from Hungary or from the US, although in the US it's bad time, but also from Africa, they are joining in some of these meetings. And this is also one of the indications that we are serving not only the observer organizations here, which is the main logic of the constituencies, the regular constituencies, but we are trying to build a bridge, between what is going on here at the COP in the field of education, communication, and outreach, and the broader community out there in the world, because there are tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people working in this area who are also not accredited to the process, but who are doing meaningful work that could be even more meaningful and impactful if it's connected and with the process and with the knowledge and resources here. So that's the logic, and with this I will open the slides. The title, it was survey, I think. Yeah.
Yep. Survey results.
Survey results. Okay, you can see it on the screen. I will make the screen available for those who are on the webcast. This one. Okay. So you can start.
Right. So as said, it's a diverse audience that we gather at ECOS, and it's made out of educators, NGOs, community leaders, and I also mean here faith leaders. We have several faith groups, faith-based groups among our members who do great outreach, as well as professionals, students from Yango, researchers as well, and policymakers. And here we refer to the ACE focal points, the Action for Climate Empowerment focal points. For those of you who are not familiar with ACE, I'm going to touch upon it as well. So moving on to that, who of you is familiar with ACE here? Action for Climate Empowerment. Okay, so it's the mechanism of the UNFCCC that covers education, training, public awareness, access to public information. It has these 6 elements, and it was identified in the very beginning of the setup of the UNFCCC Convention as the Article 6 of the UNFCCC Convention, and later on it also appeared as Article 12 in the Paris Agreement. And the main, not the main, but the official representatives of ACE are these national focal points, who are usually from ministries of education, ministries of environment, and these are the governmental people who report and coordinate some of the NGO and civil society work as well.
Yeah. And let's go through it rather quickly and have
however, this ACE is not relevant to all of ECOS members, as indicated here in this survey. Many of them are not. Most of them are not involved. Another big portion are directly involved, as well as indirectly involved, and some are not familiar with it because it's just not relevant for their daily works. And when it comes to key goals of stakeholders, it's in line with the 6 elements, so to say, with ACE: awareness raising, educating, climate literacy, climate science literacy, tutoring, providing and disseminating information, empowerment. And we also asked our members what are their main obstacles carrying out these elements, and many reported lack of funding. I think we can, many of us can relate with that, lack of funding as an obstacle, but also other concerns were set. And then some of the best strategies, what has worked for members of ECOS carrying out these. Here you see working in collaboration with sector institutions, sector-wide collaboration, civil, public, private sector, as well as creating dialogues between these sectors, advocating for behavioral campaigns, involving a large scale of stakeholders, politicians, youth, women groups, in these learning programs, and also the use of simulations. And here I also have some personal experiences on how the use of simulations can be an effective and innovative tool in awareness raising about climate change. But here I'd rather like to ask you and go around the room.
Yes,
what are your efforts? What are you doing in your respective fields? Maybe we can start from the right to the left.
Hello everyone, I'm Beth from Brussels. I'm a teaching assistant and PhD student in the areas of environment and tourism. So I work on both fields. My PhD is on global tourism response to climate change in Vietnam. And so what I do in terms of education and outreach is, which I teach at the university at a master's degree, both in environment and tourism. So it makes sense for environment students to learn about climate change. It might make less sense for tourism students to learn about it, but actually it's very important, and I think it's perhaps the biggest impact I'm making is that those students, even though they are starting to learn about sustainable tourism and all this kind of concept, we really try to emphasize on that, on the sustainable, the climate change, and the ethical dimensions of tourism. And well, I participated with Victor to the organization of a COP simulation, which was great. And then in the context of my PhD, I'm also working with Vietnamese university in the area of tourism. It's a collaboration between our university and 5-6 universities in Vietnam, so that we can create their own master program in tourism, considering that tourism is a main contributor to the Vietnamese economy. It's important for them to have people in the future, professionals who are well educated in the area. And so I have been in charge of the environment and tourism, so climate change and tourism part of their foundation. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Craig Johnson from Minneapolis, Minnesota, the United States. My main experience with climate and climate education is as a high school teacher, environmental studies teacher, and we've been bringing delegations of students to the COPs now since 2009. A growing interest, and frankly, an area of growing professional interest for me is educator development, teacher development, professional development, climate, and climate education. As a practitioner, I see a real gap that exists between not only expertise and comfort in teaching climate education on the part of my colleagues, but also obstacles to being able to, when they have the opportunity, deliver climate education to students. So I'm here because I see that as a really vital gap and a real, an area that has a lot of potential to make a real difference on this next generation. And our abilities to create programs, infrastructures, connections between organizations and people working to improve the effectiveness of educators working with students.
Hello, my name is Fabien. I just finished my studies in engineering for energy. And now I work in France about building database for providing data in the energy sector.
Hello, my name is Sarah Nelson. I'm currently with Swiss Institution of Oceanography, University of California, San Diego. I know Craig because we were both recognized by President Obama in 2015 as champions of change for climate literacy and education. So I'm underway that. It's pretty rad. I just did my master's in climate science and policy, created the first undergraduate degree program for UC San Diego. It is a climate change studies minor. It's completely interdisciplinary and it becomes available for student enrollment next month. So really excited about that project. I've had a chance to work with Frank Nicole in those climate office of education. Frank is like an half meet those people, so here I am. I really want to get connected more with the youth education program. I feel really committed to undergraduate, graduate, and adult education around climate change. I think that's a sector we're really lacking in, and so I'm committed to kind of taking my next career steps in that field. So excited to be here.
Hello, my name is Anna Polza. I'm a business student from Austria, and my relation to ECOS is the daughter of Anna Polza. But my main concern is that I'm a business student, and companies are the center of every society, but we are still not learning to focus on climate action and environmental education. Even my university, which just stated a few months ago that their main concern and especially revolve around climate change doesn't include anything into the business programs concerning environment. So environmental topics are just on the just a small group for specific people that want to really work on environment, but it's not it's an issue for everybody, not just particularly focused on environment. And so that's it.
What's your area?
I'm a mission and my work is on immunity and water access.
I'm Dennis. I'm from Network Deutschland, which is a member organization of international United Nations. I'm coming from all from the communications section because I'm studying media studies, and I've inside of that there's joint engagements that Deutschland are doing lots of educated activities, for example, in schools and with youth and with this years working. The third is as a person with disabilities to make things accessible and barrier-free, which is actually necessary, and you have to see it's not doing enough for that. Not only 25% of them what they have done in the time.
Hello, my name is Hendrik. So we are represented in more than 20 countries here. We try to connect young friends through mostly the environmental education capacity building. So we bring all these people together. Before there's actually this training, bring them together, and then we try through these methods that they learn something that they are inspired and empowered so they can work in their local labs. And besides that, we also connect with the European before. We've been attending events or the events since 2015, 2021, so every year we have regular these kind of events. And our network is not so much hopeful when it comes to competition negotiations, but our main goal to be here actually is just networking with the organizations we want to change. We have network with other organizations to learn from best practices. So we really want to create strong movements, especially in Europe, and it's also plan here
The aim of this is to find synergies, so please don't hesitate to react to each other's ideas.
Hi, I'm Jill Lackey, and I'm assistant professor at Colorado University in Chicago, where I teach climate change communication and also research on that topic. And I'm here on behalf of the International Environmental Communication Association.
Hello, I'm Barry Walker. I'm a professor at Oregon State University in the United States, a member of the Ringo Steering Committee, and I'm trying to work with a group of people to launch a new initiative called the Universities Network for Climate Capacity. We're doing a vision and global network of university faculty and students and programs around capacity building. And we know that when we think of capacity building, we have to think of what's happening here to sort of the ECOS and action for climate. Thanks. It's called the Universities Network for Climate Capacity, and I have a few little homemade flyers, and we have a homemade empty website at this point, but I'm working on it. So anyway, if you're interested, grab one of these. And we do, I should say too, that we're both members of the International Environmental Communication Association. We have a booth with Mediators Beyond Borders, number 105. You can always come by and hang out, and you'll find perhaps other environmental and climate change communicators there. Is that a fair statement? If we're there, we're usually not, but if you, I've got a few of these, and if you need a card, I can send you one of these as well.
Hi, I'm Sheila Taft from Emory University. I'm a faculty member in the English department and a former journalist. I teach journalism, science writing on climate health, and composition, and a whole variety of things. So I'm here in my capacity as a student delegation, and everybody has 10 students, it's going to have 10 students at this time, and Also, my colleague, Larissa Pawlak, in the Environmental Sciences Department, she's an expert in us. We collaborate on a course called Climate Change in Society. And this is, of course, taken largely by science students, but a lot of other students too, including those who are going to be memory delegates to come. And our focus is teaching students the basics of climate science fundamentals, and then also having them share their knowledge with the general public through multimedia websites, videos, podcasts, so on and so forth, in an effort to try to close that communications divide, the political divide that we have in the summer.
Thank you. If you would like to share more of your work or more detail, you can do this in the ECOS mailing list that we generate, and that's where we are trying to connect and mobilize these resources. I don't know if you're doing an introduction of their area.
I really see and have no private.
Right, I think.
There in the background. Yeah, sure.
My name is Eileen Newman. I've been coordinating with Bureau and Mark. Let's see, I'm from Renewable Nations Institute. We focus on sustainable energy projects, development through a workforce development model. And we have virtual and physical coursework and engagement that reaches back through a lineage, through Galapagos Island, renewable energy projects, and the African engagements. So, so most recently, we're focusing on giving students a work service engagement model through a while still enrolled in their own university. So thanks very much. I know the leaders would like to come and speak more about it. I'd like to engage more closely. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have a new person coming in, Safran. Can you perhaps introduce yourself? What's your area of work?
Hello everyone, this is Safran from Sri Lanka, and maybe I work with here I follow the negotiation on the global topic, and also work in Sri Lanka. This of 11:30, and it has agreement with the four team parts, and this also I do write about climate change issues and
Thank you all. And now, when it comes to creative and innovative solutions on reaching out to people, civil society, and empowering them, we have an initiative here, a multi-stakeholder partnership called Blocha, and I believe Miro will tell us more about it.
Yes, I would be delighted to do so. So, I will briefly present you our poster that we have here in exhibit booth 128, and also how it connects with ECOS. So, as you know, since Paris Agreement, the latest, but for many of you already before, it is clear that national governments cannot do the job alone, and that non-party stakeholders are recognized and welcome to contribute to climate action. And in the end, it's such that everybody needs to be engaged in this transition and transformation towards low-carbon societies. And the existing governance structure, the United Nations, based on nation states, is not functioning. It's not really delivering the results. The emissions are growing, and the problems are growing, and so we need to find new forms of coordination and incentivization of a community of people and institutions taking care for the global and local common good. And for this, we are setting up the multi-stakeholder partnership GLOCHA. Creating the future of the global climate action together is the title of our exhibit booth. And our mission is to create this community of people and institutions who care for people and planet, who take impactful action towards local and global public good, and who manage resources sustainably towards a good life for all, with culture, technology, and organization. And you see in the graph these three pillars of how the global community of action takers, climate action takers can be organized. Culture, because we need a shift of in our mindsets, a shift in our values. We need imagination of better ways of futures. And our organization has Global Challenges Youth Music Contest, where we ask young people to produce music video clips in which they express their vision of a sustainable world. And we've been very active in this context already at Rio+20 conference, at COP24, and lately also in San Francisco with an official affiliate event, Youth Music and Climate Action at the Grace Cathedral. And so young people are very positively responding to this call for music and call for participation, because everybody loves music, and young people also feel confident to communicate about their feelings and ideas of a sustainable future through the medium of music. And the other pillar for building this community of action takers and for empowering them is through technology. And here we have a strong focus on blockchain technology. And we are working with partners like Unify Earth and Earth Day Network on developing an app for youth climate action. It has also the feature of participation in the Global Challenges Youth Music Contest, having access to this kind of music, having the opportunity to vote there for favorite songs, but it will be also a guidance for low carbon lifestyles, and also enabling to collect the bonus points for really verified climate action of everybody. And these bonus points can be then further used in gamification. We have a City Climate Olympics initiative, and also climate entrepreneurship business models developed there. And the third element is organization. We have two institutional innovations. One is on the global level. It's the GLOCHA Global Challenges Foundation, which is somehow the secretariat of this partnership and the joint resource mobilization and program implementation arm. And this is combined with a local level institutional organizations, the GLOCHA centers, the Global Challenges centers, which are proposed to be set up in every city and every local community as a real space, a physical space in partnership with local communities or other city administrations and other stakeholders that have their concrete relevance for managing the space and resources locally, and where young people can come, get access to the internet, access to knowledge, access to best available technologies for renewable energy, for safe and healthy water, and for other sustainable development goals relevant activities. And also access to financing. And this is one element of this organizational dimension, is also to create incentive mechanisms. I've mentioned one incentive mechanisms are our City Climate Olympics, but also climate entrepreneurship business models. And for the resources to finance this, we are targeting the global philanthropy sector, just to set up the structure, because for really running it later, it's the area of renewable energy technologies and other sustainable development technologies are really income generating and really getting more and more competitive, so that we are convinced that we can become ourselves a source for funding many more sustainable development activities. But just for setting up the system, we are now approaching the signatories of the Giving Pledge. I don't know if you have heard about Bill Gates and Warren Buffett. They have convinced already 183 billionaires' families to pledge to give back to society half of their wealth. And these 183 families which have already pledged have a total combined wealth of $995 billion. So almost $1 trillion is there. And at least $500 billion is pledged for being given back to society. And our point here is that we say investing in climate action, investing in building the ecosystem and the institutional framework for enhanced multi-stakeholder climate action and for youth empowerment for climate action is the best investment one can make. And with this initiative, it was called the Give Youth a Chance Call for Resources for Youth Climate Action. We have started it at COP24 in Marrakesh, and Climates was there, one of our key partners, and several younger member organizations, and also the Secretary General, Special Envoy on Youth, was with us. And we've had in San Francisco in September Give Youth a Chance climate philanthropy meeting where we've invited wealth holders. It was a very good meeting there, but we didn't yet succeed to get the signatories of the Giving Pledge responding to this. So our aim is now to approach also the Secretary General in the context of his climate summit in September, that he helps the non-party stakeholders to reach the resource holders with his convening power, so that he says he will also join such a meeting in September next year in New York. And we are hopeful that it will be possible to get really the attention and the benevolence and the resources of these global philanthropy players. Otherwise, we have to go through the climate entrepreneurship avenue, and we have also blockchain companies who are offering us to work with us on token sales, and so this is an alternative option. And once we get really two significant resources, a key activity that we want to also channel resources to is building this intellectual infrastructure for global climate action, investing in education, communication and outreach, multilingual platforms. And here I will show you very briefly the cleannet.org is the homepage of the network in cleannet.org in the US about climate learning and education, climate literacy and energy awareness network, which was also somehow the starting point for this community here, because Mark McCaffrey, who was very important in setting up this clean network in the US, said we need also this kind of structure and educational resources on the global level. And we need also multilingual platforms. And so there is really a lack of this institutional and technical and financial resources for the education, communication and outreach community here. And that's what we are trying to set up with ECOS. And we are somehow struggling really to get on the next level, because there are so many people active in this area. And ECOS has this opportunity to have the morning meetings here. That's somehow our biggest asset, but we can do so much more. And we are very much interested to learn from you what your ideas might be. And as I've mentioned before, today at 5 o'clock, we have a press conference. The topic is building the intellectual infrastructure for global climate action. If you would think that what you are doing should be there as one of the main needs for the education, communication, and outreach, stakeholders, coordination, please approach me and we will try to bring you into the press conference as well. So please. It's Katowice. Yeah. We have a new participant over there. And what are your, do you have any comments to the presentation of Glotcha? Are you perhaps aware of somebody who is doing similar work where we should connect to? Perhaps for information also, with this multi-stakeholder partnership, we have the idea that there should be a global climate action center. As we have somehow in New York, the United Nations Secretariat as the go-to place for the governmental stakeholders to work together on these global topics. We are convinced that there's also a need for a place to go to for non-governmental stakeholders. And we will launch next week a design competition for a global climate action center, asking people, what are your ideas? How such a global center could function? What should be included? How should it operate? How should it look like? And then next year in September, and during the climate summit of the Secretary General, we will have side events where these ideas will be presented. So with this, I finished my part.
And if you are inspired, or if you got already inspired before and have an initiative that you would like to share, that you would like to build capacity around, this space serves as a space to find capacity and to try to scale up those initiatives. So please don't hesitate to share them with us. Here, yes.
I have already started a global solar food processing network. It is currently active on Facebook. And during after this talk, I'm launching GREENS, that is Global Renewable Energy Networks. So this will be basically connecting, this will be a network of networks for all renewable energy. I will be really requiring some support from this platform to get correct people involved in that, so that the message or we are able to find the global goals in time.
Thanks. Knowing Abhishek and his idea, please, if this is something for you, connect, perhaps just connect to him and then connect to us to reach him as well. And in the meantime, we also have some new participants, and we've kind of already gone through everyone sharing their areas, their needs, what they're doing. Perhaps you can also share how you connect to education, aids, and related matters.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sonaline. I didn't expect a question. Well, I took last few weeks.
Can you speak louder, please?
So I met him in one this year, and he as well. And so they appreciate the information that I think it's very vital, and sometimes I do use it. And I'm sure you'll want stories that I disseminate through the media and collaboration. My name is Martha. I also come from Bogotá. I'm a community development officer.
So basically, my goal is to sensitize the community about climate information, climate finance issues. So what we do is we link communities with professionals. So information that we get from the COPs and the board sessions, we translate it into much simpler terms so that our people and the local communities can understand what climate change is and what adaptation initiatives they can do, mitigation, and how they can access finance so that they can start the bottom-up approach in terms of organization.
Thank you. And as I mentioned earlier, some of the ECOS members and participants are East origin points in their countries. And from my own experience working with a youth-led NGO on youth empowerment, awareness raising through innovative projects, it's one of the best ways to connect to your national government is through these ACE gender focal points. And this is a good opportunity at the COP to find your national ACE and gender focal points, contact them, or even better, if you can come here and meet them here, or ask them to come here.
Excellent. Yeah, and we have here on the screen now, let me share the screen. We have the ECOS mailing list, so you are welcome to add your name to the list. So Climate ECOS Gmail group, and yeah, yes, you've sent me the link.
Yeah, there's a bit.ly link if you'd like to connect. It's bit.ly/join ECOS.
Yeah. And another way to stay connected is through our Facebook group. And the Facebook group is here. Wait a minute. It's also Climate ECOS is the name. So it's not coming. Okay, wait a minute. I will share the screen. Yeah. What would you like? Would you like to connect your computer?
All right. That's into a doc. If you can.
Okay.
Put it in the big screen.
This one. This one you sent. Did you send another one?
Mm-hmm. If you open the chats. Yeah, exactly.
Victor, can you post the link in the Facebook, mailing list in the Facebook group?
Absolutely. We're going to put it on the screen as well with a quick link.
Yeah. It's somehow the computer is.
/join ECOS?
That's right. That's right. Put it up. Perhaps if you can on screen, you can open this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one.
So, should be on the screen now. Yeah.
Yeah. There you see the short link. Yeah.
Yeah. And for your information, tomorrow we are not planning to have our ECOS meeting because it's the opening of the Young and Future Generations Day. It's for all of us a very important event because it's organized also by the ACE program of the Secretariat, and youth is most interested in the topic of education, communication, and outreach. So we will be there, but on Friday we will have again our regular meeting. And anything else that we should say?
Yes, perhaps. I don't know who of you follows or like to follow health when it comes to the messaging climate change through health, and I believe today is a key moment for that, because WHO, the World Health Organization, is launching its report on climate and health, and this takes place today in the early afternoon. So perhaps it's a good moment for you to get a hands on this report or some of the findings of this COP24 climate and health report.
Yeah, thank you, Victor. And also, if somebody of you would like to be involved in the work of the community, of ECOS community in the future, helping organize the morning meetings, help organize information platforms, as you might have observed, we also don't have yet really a homepage. Every help is very welcome, so please contact us afterwards, and we will be happy to work with as many of you in the future as possible. Any concluding questions or comments? Okay, then thank you for having been with us.